is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Thank you so much for staying with 95.1 Nigeria Info. And it is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day, Kim.
Love is in the air. If love is what's in the air, that is. I don't know, a bit of dust particles.
Well, it's really dusty.
Yeah.
Not here, though. Outside.
Yeah.
But, it's a good day to celebrate love. It's Lover's Day. Ensure that you show yourself some love. If you're single, we are sending you all the love and hugs.
No,
you
we're
need
with
right
you.
now.
We're your Valentine. You're not by yourself.
No, you're not.
Don't go thinking you're alone, like all by myself.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They've appealed to me to stop singing. I just can't I can't help myself. Like, I don't want to be all by myself. We've got
that's
you,
Celine
babe.
Dion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a huge Celine Dion fan.
I am also.
Yeah, so, we're old people.
I know, right?
Goodness. Welcome.
All right, people, welcome to Hard Facts, the Valentine edition. It will still be intense if you're thinking it's going to be all lovey-dovey conversation all through, but we'll find a way to just bring a bit of color into the show today.
Totally.
Perhaps with more of the music we'll play. We promised there was going to be more love songs today, and we definitely will be keeping with that promise today. I'm sure you had a great time from the Morning Crossfire show to what's happening in Abuja and the Sunny show, the Sunny Side show, that is. Well, it's time for Hard Facts Abuja, and my name is Kimberly Itodo. Just call me Kim, the Oracle, the digital Oracle, the fellow OTF Madam Speaker. And you'll be right. And Itodo has a touch of red.
Yes, I do. You made me do this today, but it looks fancy.
Yeah. I came in and they were like, Kim, is this Valentine color? I said, yes. And you need to see, they were surprised. They're like, guys, are you saying I'm not romantic? I don't understand why the surprise look.
Well, you give off the romantic vibe.
Thank you very much.
I think you are romantic.
Thank you. Abuja, hear this from this man. I give off the romantic vibe. And people run into me another time they want to talk politics and intense issue. Like, God, have mercy.
Well, I mean, you have both sides going for you, and that's totally okay. That's understandable.
All right, I appreciate that. I totally do. Okay, just so you know, we just don't keep yapping all by ourselves. We've got our guests already seated in the studio. Nope, we're not making him blush with all this plenty Valentine talk, but I think he's
got a touch of red as well.
Where?
His frame. Somewhere. If you look from the side, you'd see it.
He's dressed in all white. I bet you can see it. We're streaming live on YouTube at Nigeria Info ABJ and Facebook at Nigeria Info ABJ, so you can see our guests. We have Mr. Chuks Ohwebe with us in the studio. He is the director of publication, Nigerian Pilot. Delighted to have you in the studio, and happy Valentine's Day to you.
Well, good afternoon. Happy Valentine, Nigerians.
Yes, I know there's no cash, so everybody's they're canceling Valentine this year. Cashless Valentine. That's interesting. Now, talking about cash situation, the CBN pulled a fast one on us, or maybe they're having the last laugh because we didn't listen to them. We listened more to the Supreme Court. As a matter of fact, I listened to the Supreme Court when they said, okay, for now, you cannot make this, you cannot ban this currency being a legal tender until we address certain case in court. And I took that to the bank, figuratively speaking, believed that we're going to use the old currency. And then the CBN is now saying, Kolewek, that it is no longer legal tender.
Legal tender, yeah. That's what
and the banks are not taking this money off of people. Markets are not collecting it. Nigerians are not trading with it. But then here's the conflicting part of it, sir. Some states are arresting people who are refusing to accept the old currency.
Yes.
So what exactly is going on?
Politics.
Politics
and all politics. And the fellows at the receiving end are Nigerians, poor Nigerians. A well thought out policy that would have done well if well implemented, but politics are taking the wind off the sail. The matter at hand is that this morning the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, was at the Federal Ministry of, or at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, where he spoke to some journalists and declared that the old 200, 500, and 1,000 notes became legal tender from the 10th of February, meaning that he stuck to his gun.
Wow.
Before he said that yesterday, one of the branch, I don't know his office, but he spoke somewhere in Bauchi. He's a staff of CBN.
Yeah.
He said a similar thing. But the thing is that there is a matter subsisting before the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. And the expected motion before the Supreme Court gave an order that come back on the 15th of this month, which is tomorrow, for hearing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that why I said is politics. They didn't even allow that 8 days to elapse for Supreme Court to make a pronouncement, a final pronouncement on that. Now, Nigerians are confused. If you are unfortunate enough, you have the old notes, well, that becomes some piece of paper, worthless piece of paper with you. But legally speaking, the matter before the Supreme Court, who are the parties in this matter? That is what will make it binding. I would want to believe, because this morning I listened to Femi Falana SAN, where he said that Nigeria is turning to a banana republic, that the highest court in the land will give an order and it will not be obeyed. Now, on the other side, the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami SAN, while filing his objection to the order of the Supreme Court, said that, one, he raised two issues. One is that Supreme Court that the court lacks the jurisdiction to hear that matter.
The Supreme Court, yeah.
Yes. And secondly, that there is no case to answer. Thirdly, that the CBN is not a party in this matter. If you're a legal mind, you go back and look at the process filed before the Supreme Court. The federal government was sued.
Not the CBN.
The CBN as a body was not sued. Therefore, because that is why AGF Madami said the matter based on jurisdiction.
But then he went after the Council of State meeting to say they were going to comply with the position of the Supreme Court. Speaking from both sides of his mouth sends even more confusion, because that's
why
the vibe.
My preliminary remarks, I said politics.
Oh dear.
Bedrock of all that is happening is politics. Whose interest is being protected? There's a fight going up there. Two elephants are fighting. We lesser Nigerians are feeling the heat. CBN is looking at, there's a lacuna that borders on jurisdiction. I say they are hiding under that if Supreme Court has the jurisdiction, the Supreme Court does not have the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is with the Federal High Court. That should be the court of first instance. But here we are. Beyond all these razzmatazz, legal razzmatazz, how are Nigerians faring? What is the state of things here in this country as we speak? That should be the thing that should bother lesser mortals like you and I. But it has gone beyond us. Thankfully enough, I think for me, I won't say more than this, because let's wait till tomorrow when all the parties will appear before the Supreme Court, those Supreme Court justices, and let's hear from them whether they will reprimand the CBN or whether they will say they have the jurisdiction to hear this matter. Whichever way it goes, we take it up from there.
Now, while courts are refusing to accept the old Naira notes, banks rather, the CBN has said it is open to receive the Naira notes, but there are processes to get into that stage. You don't just walk into a CBN office and drop the notes. You have to apply online, get a code, take the code to their office, fill a couple of forms, and give them a couple of reasons why you're depositing the funds, give them your account number and all of that. How many people are able to keep up with this? Because the assumption when the Supreme Court gave that order was that the banks will still receive these old Naira notes, and maybe there'll be old Naira notes in circulation so that people can get cash and spend. But right now, no old Naira notes, no new Naira notes, and everyone is just stuck in a confusion as to what exactly is the way forward. Even the judiciary is also having issues in Lagos where processes were to be filed, but the funds which are in old Naira notes were being refused. And government offices as well, going to banks to deposit the old Naira notes, are being turned back, saying that they have stopped receiving the old Naira notes. There's so much issue. There's so much going on. And where exactly can we, while we wait for the 15th, hopefully something, good happens. What is the way forward from all of this confusion? The refusal of the CBN to heed to the interim injunction by the Supreme Court. And right now you have to go to the CBN to deposit those old funds, but then it's not as straightforward. It's not straightforward. You have to go through a couple of processes to get to the final stage to getting the new Naira notes or the swap.
I think the CBN is just, they are relying on the provisions of the Act, the Extant Act, that's CBN Act 2007, as amended, that vested these rights, responsibilities, powers on the Apex Bank. So while we await whatever will happen tomorrow, we lost it when they could not take a decision. And this decision all begins and ends at the desk of Mr. President. Okay? So Nigerians, to me, my field report is telling me that Nigerians have come to accept their fate. They've suffered these days, these weeks, and they say, okay, with time, if we can only be getting little of what we have saved in our account, we will trudge on.
But have we really accepted the fate? Because we see people sleeping at ATMs. We see riots. I mean, there's the riots earlier today that happened in Sangota, Ogun State. And last week, a couple of riots in different locations in the country. And before you know it, these things can become widespread. We're hoping that things change.
I mean, the Sultan himself was saying it might bring about, chaos and some bit of anarchy if this isn't addressed.
His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, spoke yesterday, and if you go through his address, you see this royal father. He's very, very disappointed, very angry, and the reason is very simple. I'm a royal father. Hundreds of persons come to the palace every day. And what are they coming to do? They are not coming to seek for advice. They are coming to tell you, we are dying. Do you watch us die? And no leader will accept that. Nigeria is at the brinks. Very many things are being done at the same time, and the end point is just to push it down the throat of the average Nigerian. While we are grappling with this Naira redesign, they're equally planning to conduct the census.
As a matter of fact, the first quarter of this year,
insecurity is festering everywhere in this country. The security agencies, they've been overwhelmed. The Minister of Defense said yesterday that the army, the military have been overstretched. And we are talking about 10 days to the general election. Too many things are not
adding up.
They are not adding up.
But here's the interesting thing, sir. I can't recall any time we've had a more controversial election year like this one. I mean, if you're thinking about the Naira redesign, we have insecurity, fuel scarcity, just choking the election period. It's quite unusual to have all of this just crystallize when we're days away from the polls, particularly when you have a ruling party interested in getting re-elected. It just feels like quite a lot. You start to wonder what is beyond the politics, the underplays, what is very curious here as to what's the game plan?
It's all about leadership.
Because APC wants to run for office. I mean, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is there. It's not as if they don't have a stake. And then putting all of this, it's a way to, change
beyond Bola Ahmed Tinubu's campaigning to win the presidency. We have a sitting president. But my hunch is that...
But I mean,
Getting
he has
into
very
an
little
office-
to lose at this point in time. He's done his 2 term.
Hear my,
If it
hear
was
my,
his-
hear my argument.
Okay.
Getting into office is one issue. The personality you bring into that office is another issue. That is the problem we have in this country. President Buhari got into that office and it became obvious that that office overwhelmed him. And this is the end point. And some of the policies he took when he got into office are the things that are backfiring. He inherited a united Nigeria. He got into office and divided the country by his actions and inactions. Nepotism became a state policy. That is why you have all these pockets of uprising in Nigeria. You can trace all of them to that policy. Some persons now feel we don't have any business being part of this entity called Nigeria. So as we are running up to election, these things are beginning to rear their ugly heads. And Nigerians are beginning to say, do we remain, do we go? So you need a leader with a strong hand who will tell you, I'm the leader, look at me, I believe in this country, and everybody should follow me. I mean, it is not cast in iron or whatever it says. The thing is, you are style and leadership model so that people can follow you, believe in you. Everybody will not believe in you, but when majority of Nigerians believe in you, you know that you are safe. But the way it is now, okay, you are talking about census. Because they committed 400 billion naira, some persons want to sit down and balkanize the money. Where will they go now? The enumerators, will they be safe to go to northeast, to northwest, to the southeast and south-south and all these flashpoints and people get enumerated? Even if they manage to tell us that they have done that, will the result of that census be acceptable? Obasanjo tried in 2006.
Till date, it's still a very controversial
yes,
one. Yeah.
Nobody accepted it. Not to talk of now that Nigerians don't even... How many Nigerians will agree to open their doors and allow enumerators to come in and get them counted? Good policy, bad timing.
Good policy, bad timing. Just before we move on to the next story, because it's tied to this, let's look at some comments quickly.
All right, going straight to the YouTube platform right now. Good afternoon, Kim and Itodo. We agreed on a touch of red, but Kim is in maroon, while Itodo is in red cap. Happy cashless Valentine's Day. And that is from Peter Asu. Chris is also wishing us a happy Valentine's Day. We look amazing. Thank you. Kingsley Utumo, happy Valentine's Day to you as well. No matter the strategy that any party wants to implore, it's until the apex court of the land gives the verdicts before we all know the final outcome of the saga of the Naira note. CBN is under the federal government. Ayodele Samuel right there. And Banky says he's ashamed of the CBN, no professionalism at all.
Ayewo Demo 77 actually said he sent his comment first, so we need to acknowledge that also.
Of course.
And Matthew Monday on Facebook says, Itodo and the Oracle, great show, big up guys. Also Francis Namani says, watching live from Amagunze, in Enugu State. Greetings from here. Good to know. Abdul Salis is also with us, and Alu Mayor Ojoda says CBN should stop playing with our patience. We may be patient, but if push comes to shove, we can fight back. That's Mayor from Nyanya. And Yaya M. Adams says, great job. Nigeria Info, watching. I'm watching from Massacre. God bless Nigeria. Let's run for a very quick break. We'll be back with more.
Talk, I'm one for talk. Let's talk.
Game. All right, that is his own take there. Let's go to the next story.
All right, police claim Oduduwa agitators amassing weapons to disrupt polls ahead of the 2023 general elections scheduled to kick off on February 25th across the country. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Akali Baba, yesterday disclosed that the police have intelligence. Oduduwa Nation agitators have been amassing weapons and mobilizing resources towards disrupting the peace and security and the electoral process in the southwest geopolitical zone. Baba made the revelation while addressing commissioners of police, CPs, and the assistant inspectors general of police, AIGs, for the first time this year regarding the elections. Now, the police boss tasked the police managers to safeguard the public space for elections in active synergy with other security agencies, while charging them to make certain that quasi-security outfits created and owned by state governments are precluded from election duties. He stressed that national security interest overrides personal interest, and as such, in line with directives of the president, the election shall be policed in a civil manner with full compliance with the rule of law. Let's get your initial thoughts about this. Now, we know the president also told the police leadership that they should ensure that they conduct the elections properly because the global community is watching Nigeria right now, and it's important that we ensure we have a peaceful conduct of the elections. He has also said that to other security agencies as well. Let's get your initial thoughts on these agitators and what could be done to prevent whatever it is that they might be planning.
Okay. The number one question is, why are they agitating? Do they have the right under the Constitution to do that? I think they do. But the question is, why are they agitating? Has it been addressed? Are there germane issues? This is the reason why you have state. This is why you have leadership. This is why you have to get to the root of matters like this, especially in the run-up to elections. I cannot sit here and say it is right for any non-state actors to go and acquire equipment, guns, or whatever it is. But the thing is, what is at the root of this agitation? Why is it that non-state actors are beginning to take up almost all the available space in Nigeria? What is the police doing? The security agencies, what are they doing? Have they done their job very well? How many police officers do we have for the over 200 million Nigerians we have? Have they recruited enough? The face-off between the IG and the Police Service Commission, has it been resolved? Who has the responsibility to hire policemen? We were told that every year they would take 10,000 policemen. Have they been doing that? If they do that, what quality of policemen have they been recruiting? Were they recruiting touts or thugs of politicians just to settle them? These are the issues. Do we have a enlightened police force? So when you do all this intelligence gathering, some persons have to sit down somewhere and synthesize it and get to the root of it and begin to address it one after the other. But when you have a situation where non-state actors are allowed, deliberately or otherwise, to occupy valid spaces, then we are in for problems. You see, why you are talking about the Oduduwa agitator, it didn't start today. You have to look at what is happening in the southeast. I saw a video this afternoon of one Simon Ekpa, who resides in Finland, saying that from the 24th of February till the 29th, the whole of Southeast will be locked down. Nobody will be out, not even to cast his ballot. I mean, this is unacceptable. Simon Ekpa does not reside in Nigeria. He raises money online to do his nefarious activities. The security agencies will not tell me that they don't know what is going on. Let me say it now. Let me challenge the Minister of Foreign Affairs that he has to invite the Finland ambassador, envoy to Nigeria immediately and demand for the extradition of Simon Ekpa. He cannot be in Finland and levying war on Nigeria. He carries two passports. He carries the passport of Finland, he carries the Nigerian passport. He's a lawyer, he's a politician, and he is doing all this there. And the Finnish government is pretending they don't know what is happening in Nigeria.
Well, it would be a responsibility to reach out for them. They perhaps will not be scouting
Precisely,
Twitter
that is
to
why
see what you're doing.
I've called out the Foreign Affairs Minister. It falls within his purview, which he works in tandem with the DGNI.
Because I agree, the man is a threat.
Yes,
know he has given
for
directives
all that
sometime
has
back.
been done in this country, and some persons are saying that it's being used by fifth
Columnist.
Whatever it is, we have to safeguard whoever is in the Southeast who is registered to vote for this election for the person to go and do so without any let or hindrance. We can't continue this way.
And why that is particularly important to address, because we're getting repeatedly on a daily attacks going on in the southeastern part of the country. I mean, just yesterday, gunmen attack another police facility in Anambra State. We've seen attacks at the INEC facility. We've seen attacks. Individual residences have been attacked also. That is not something you take lying down thinking you can wish it away.
When people from this region tell you that the government at the center don't take care of them, they have a reason, and it is justified. And when someone who resides in Finland sits down there, does a broadcast, are you telling me that the people in our foreign service, the NIA people, they don't know him, they can't track him? I think Mr. Onyama, who is our foreign affairs minister, this is about time. Let me invite that envoy.
But do you think the tracking is what will counter that? Because Nnamdi Kanu was picked up from Kenya. And how did it address anything? What you see is a fallout of that arrest, where you have Simon Ekpa growing, his own followership and all of that. And I followed a report where the Anambra State governor said he has an audience with the president, has to be meeting the president pretty soon concerning Nnamdi Kanu. It's left for us to know what the outcome would be, to say, would you let this man out and see if he's going to douse detention and cancel out what Simon Ekpa is doing? Because IPOB is saying no more sit at home. We support the election. Simon Ekpa's faction of it is saying no election is going to happen. Will the coming of Nnamdi Kanu cancel it out, or that ship has sailed? We can't fix it.
You see, the problem in the South is so complex. It's complicated. Dear. Remember, the federal government, this same federal government took Nnamdi Kanu to court. The Court of Appeal set him free. The government said they will not let him go. Yet the government has not appealed that ruling. So this is a country that is, we are told that a body of laws is governing this country. So when there's a court ruling and the government is not obeying it, what do you want the people to do? Again, even before we get to we got to this level, the political class in the Southeast have been complicit. I have to say it. They have not done their role. Last week, Thursday or Friday, the former President General of Ohanese, that's Professor Obiozo, his remains was
laid to rest.
Laid to rest. I had thought that would have been an occasion where they would have sat down and look at what is happening around them and take a decision, far-reaching decision, to get this thing out. But the truth of the matter is that we are under a political leadership in this country. Even the Constitution of the Federal Republic stipulates that the leadership of this country will ensure that there is peace and order, security for every Nigerian, wherever you reside in this country. I want to believe that the authorities at the center, they are failing the people in the Southeast. Because if you go there, you know that for almost 2 years now, every Monday, nobody goes anywhere. All markets are shut. And these are all business people. You can quantify how much they have lost. If you know the number of houses that have been set ablaze, if you know the number of persons that have been killed by this so-called government, and you begin to ask, you don't have security in this country? How come that everybody has...
But then there's heavy presence of security in the region. So, I mean, how do you explain it? The people from the Southeast will tell you, nothing is happening about heavy security, checkpoint, military, and the likes of it. And this is still happening under their noses. So how do you explain it? What else can you do?
You know why it is very important that the government at the center acts very fast? We have 10, 11 days to the election.
True that.
The Southeast has someone who is running. He's not an Igbo candidate. He's a candidate who is running, who wants to be president of Nigeria, even though he's of Igbo extraction. He will feel shortchanged if most of the votes he's going to get from his zone is denied them, and the outcome of the election will be contestable. But that would be one of the that would be one of the worst things that will happen to this process. If at the end of the day, people say we do not accept the outcome of this. But that
would not be solely on the federal government. Even the leaders in the region would have some bit of responsibility in this.
But you followed my analysis.
I do agree with you,
I said that the political leadership of the Southeast is complicit.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about the role of the president in all of this. How can he assert his authority on any lawless group that will try to jeopardize the election or prevent anyone from voting? Because IPOP has consistently said that there will be no sit at home during the election and they will let everyone come out to vote. But right now, there's a faction going on, and that is somewhat causing a friction between both parties and, of course, the general elections when it comes up 25th of February. So how can the president do the needful and ensure that that part of the country is safe and people can go out and exercise their rights.
Mr. President has to give a marching order that there must be election everywhere in this country. Let me remind you, in 2015, Boko Haram was at its peak, worst. Jonathan was the president of this country. He needed to do everything possible to reclaim every inch of soil called Nigeria. In short, the election was postponed by 6 weeks. If that needs to be done, I'm not in any way saying that the election should be postponed this time, but I'm saying that more security men have to be deployed to the southeast. There should be assurances to the people that, look, you will vote, nobody will harm you, and your vote will count. In short, it is an electoral offense. I think section 1, just pardon me, can I go to section 180? It should be 180. It should be 187 of the Electoral Act that listed. No. 1 minute, electoral offenses.
Are we looking at the Electoral Act?
Yes.
All right, go
Electoral
ahead.
128. Section 128 of the Electoral Act is very specific. It says 128B, 128, a person who inflicts or threatens to inflict by his or herself or by any other person any minor or serious injury, damage, harm, or loss, or against a person in order to induce or compel that person to vote or refrain from voting, or on account of such person having voted or refrained from voting. 28C says by abduction, duress, or a fraudulent device or contrivance impedes or prevents the free use of the vote, or a voter, or thereby compels, induces, or prevails a voter to give or refrain from giving his vote. You see, these are electoral offenses. That is the reason why the federal government has to come in to make sure that no Nigerian is restrained. No, there will be no impediment. All these so-called known and unknown gunmen, look, these fellows must be unmarked and taken to the cleaners so that people can genuinely come out, unless you don't want to vote, and exercise your franchise.
All right, we know the provision of the Electoral Act. We'll see what will happen in the coming days to ensure and assuage fears of people in that region. While we're talking about the southeastern people, that bit of apprehension as should we come out, shouldn't we, what will happen and all of that. The southwest also has its own Oduduwa that the police has flagged and say, okay, they're stockpiling weapons, there are threats coming in here. In the northwestern parts of the country, we will not pretend that there is no tension, there is no threat. Far-flung communities are also a problematic area where we'd see how this will affect on the election. There's just so much going on. God help us, this 2023 election. Just before we go to the next story, let's look at some comments, maybe take a call or two and then get to the next story.
Let's get to the phone lines right now. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Itodo, Disha Orokula, and our guest Abubakar from Gwagwalada. I will start my contribution by asking a question. What make us superpower in the Committee of Nations? If you take out dollar out of American life, what is the meaning of America? What if somebody by official pronouncement render Nigeria Naira, valueless, worthless? It's uncalled for. What I'm fearing, there may be social eruption of highest order very soon, because people are with a lot of millions of old Naira notes, and the due are not inside. So you want to render people wealth and assets useless. It is not possible. Why is Minister of Finance? Why suddenly MFLA become Alpha and Omega in our finance family? Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Well, someone wants to know where's the Minister of Finance. What say does she even have in all of this? Hello. Okay, see that's not connecting. Let's hear from the other caller. Okay, hello?
Hello, good afternoon, Digital Oracle and Kimberly And Itodo. Good afternoon, my name is Salasi. Good afternoon, our guest.
Welcome to you.
Welcome, Salasi.
Honestly, the policy of this central bank governor, I don't understand. I made mention yesterday, couldn't buy fuel for filling station with the old note. And you could imagine what people are going through, most especially people in the rural area. You can't buy something. And so are we to wait for the judgment of the Supreme Court? While Malami later took Supreme Court to court, they say they have no jurisdiction. They have to start from the appellate to the Supreme Court. So where are we now as Nigerians? Where are we? I want all you guys to tell us in which position are we now in Nigeria about this old Naira note? Because it's still, many people still have this old Naira note, but they can't make use of it. Still up to now, friendly station are rejecting, even banks are rejecting the old Naira note. Then where will we take this old Naira note to? Please ask the government to where are we as from at this moment? Where are we? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And let's take one more and then.
Welcome to you. Good afternoon.
Itodo, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
The team, I greet you and our guests. God bless every one of you.
Good afternoon.
I greet all the previous callers. This is Adeomi calling. Now, our guest, I want to ask you. You are telling me that Buhari should give marching order. Which Buhari are you talking about? How many marching orders has he giving? How many marching orders? See, let me tell you. God is watching every one of us. Mr. President has something in his mind. You may not agree with me today, but the secret will reveal. On the issue of IG, why is he back on the issue of Southern Nigeria? South is the other day, he said we'll deal with them. What's up all these Fruji, all these guys that they survive? Why didn't go after them? Those who collect 6.4 billion, where are they? It is only Southwest, Southeast is going after. What is going on?
All right.
This is injustice.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's look at two comments and get to the next.
Okay, Deomore77 says CBN is joking with Nigerians' feelings. Nigerians are really suffering. If everybody rejects this money, there'll be nothing to trade with. God bless this filling station for constantly accepting the old notes. And Barry Joseph Annie Ministry says, hi, Kim and Itodo. Good afternoon. Happy controversial Naira Valentine's Day. No matter what, I still have some old Naira notes. Okay. Do you have time for some more?
Yeah, Suleiman Mohammed says, I can feel you, Mr. Chooks. My Oga at the top, leadership. Thank you, Kim and Itodo. Happy Valentine's Day. And he says, sorry, sir, I would have to disagree with you on the guy in Finland giving us threat, which is not acceptable from Simon. But he did not ask the Foreign Affairs Minister for Nnamdi Kanu from the UK, where he was threatening Nigerians and calling us names. Mr. Chooks, I think it is double standard. Okay, I'm not sure I understand much of it, but let's get to the next story.
Okay, moving on to the next story right there. It has to do with Port Harcourt and what's happening in River State and, of course, the PDP. And interestingly, my system is frozen.
All right.
But then again, it has to do with the PDP refusing to go ahead with a rally planned in River State. Initially, they had applied to get a venue, but the governor refused and later on agreed to give them that venue for the rally. But then they have refused. I mean, we know what's happening with the G5 governors and the PDP and what the back and forth has been over time. But then their reason for refusing to go on a campaign rally right there is because of insecurity and what could come out of the rally if they were to go to River State.
And we know PDP is one of the parties. I mean, we've recorded quite a number of violence during their campaign rallies from Kaduna to Zamfara to, I think, Maiduguri also, where the governor had to apologize. It feels like for some of the rallies, you get some attack. And River State seems to be like, a boiling area for the PDP at the moment. Does this even make sense that you have to cancel a rally because of all of that? Also, maybe it does make sense if we're dealing with security, though. But what's your interpretation?
In our Nigerian parlance, we say life has no duplicate.
Whoever
is gone is gone.
So,
all right, Dr. B.A. Sekibo, one-time transport minister, is the DG of PDP presidential campaign for River State. I think sometime on last weekend, he went to that venue, what was supposed to be the venue, to inspect it, and he claimed that they fired shots at him. It was the grace of God he survived. And since then, there has been this back and forth between the governor of the state and members of the PDP who are in Atiku's camp.
Yeah.
Therefore, just to make sure that this friction is put in check, they resolved that let's put the Rivers campaign on hold so that sanity will prevail. Because you see, these are the things we are talking about. At every level, whichever class you are, whichever office you are occupying, you have to be decorous. both in your output and in your relationship with the people. At the end of it all, you are the chief security officer of that place. Rivers, for instance, Governor Wike, whether we like it or not, is the chief security officer. But that being vested on him does not in any way, I think that should be a check on his attitude, on his actions. But I don't know what to say now. He hasn't discharged that responsibility fairly. And I'm so happy that PDP had to call off that rally to save life, because there is no way, when the APC had their own rally somewhere in that River State too, they shot at Tony Cole.
I recall.
Yeah. So it is one incident too many.
But that's an indictment on the state governor.
Very well. That's what I am saying, that if you are in an office, don't overuse some of these things that accrue to your office. Someday, very soon, you leave that office and some of these things will come out. You become a victim of it. The G5 stuff, I don't even know whether it is still alive or they are just...
I mean, January passed and he didn't state who was supporting, anything. So that died.
So we have 10, 11 days. Those who believe in Atiku in River State, they can do their underground campaigns without bringing people to a particular place. Whoever believes in him will vote for him. Those who believe in other candidates will vote for them. But it would have been better, because we are looking at tomorrow. I mean, you don't shut the door against yourself or you burn the bridges. Someday you will need those bridges. By May 29, he would have left office as governor. Who knows what will be his next part of. But the thing is that immunity that, shields him from some of all these things, he will now be an ordinary citizen. He should look back. Amechi was there before him. Dr. Odele was there before him. They are ordinary citizens. What type of life do you want to live when you leave office? So there is every need to be accommodative and to see things from all perspectives and carry everybody along. Because this is all about politics. It is not war. Until our political leaders begin to know that this is not a do or die affair, it is for the sake of Nigeria. I have the best. I'm bringing my manifesto. This is what I want to do. Judge me by what I have done before. And if you feel that I'm credible enough, vote for me. If at the end of the day, the election is free and fair, we should be able to shake hands and say, well, it doesn't matter. You are from the Southwest, I'm from the Southeast, this person is from the North. We are all Nigerians. At the center of it is Nigeria. Whatever everybody is doing now is for the good of this country called Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's hear more from you. 0700 951 0000. That's one number to call. Or 0809 9930 137. Or 0809 5974 869.
Welcome to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Is that Nigeria Info?
Yes, it is.
Okay, this is Odafe.
Welcome.
I'm calling Odafe is the name.
Go ahead. Welcome to you. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Quickly, let me drop my comment concerning the Naira swap issue. I want to say that with our three arm of government, the judiciary, the parliament, and also the federal arm. Now, is there anyone out of these three that has absolute power? That is one. Then number two, if you say one of them have absolute power, are you saying that if Governor Emefiele wake up today or tomorrow and say all the currency we have should be burned to ashes, is there nobody to check him? We will go on and burn our currency? Or even the federal government wake up to and say Nigeria should not be called Nigeria again. Give it another name.
All right, sir.
There's no other arm among these other two. He cannot be checked. Please, I want an answer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Elder Odafe. Let's hear another caller.
Welcome to you. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Itodo, Kim, and your guest. My name is Eddie. I'm calling from Gariki.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about the cash crunch issue that we are currently facing. I want to start by saying that a country deserves the kind of leadership that they have, and we deserve the kind of leadership that we are having since 2015 till date. Reason being that we had options not to go for the present president. But people Nigerians still, after knowing about his antecedents, still voted for him. Now, this is another opportunity, not election year, for us to choose our leader. We have several options this time around. But yes, it is so surprising that people will still want to go and queue up behind a candidate like Atiku Abubakar that is having the same or a worse.
All right, let's not do that.
Like President Buhari. It's also unfortunate that people that you think they have a future in this country, they are reasonable, they're supposed to have rational thinking, we still want to go and support somebody like Atiku Abubakar.
All right, thank you very much. We'll have to let you go. Just make your point and let's not drag too much anybody down. Hello.
Welcome to you. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Markman calling from Apple.
Go ahead.
On currency swap, I think it is time we know that the Constitution is made by us for the very purpose of governing us. For a sane society, why do we have the habit of disobeying the court? We are turning this country into a lawless country if we refuse to obey our court. If we refuse to obey our court, it means this is a lawless country. And a lawless country, anything can happen. Please and please, our leaders should learn to respect and comply and obey our judiciary because they are the sacred arm of government. We appoint them there to interpret the Constitution for our very, very own sake, benefit. Why are we disobeying them? Why?
All right, thank you very much, sir.
We want a better country.
Thank you, sir. Let's run for a very quick break and we'll be back to hear more from you and get more responses from our guests. Stay with us.